Last week, the S&P 500 fell 1.5%, the Nasdaq dropped 2%, and the Dow Jones declined 2%. U.S. stock prices pulled back in a holiday-shortened week as trade war fears remained in focus, and after comments from Fed Chair Powell suggesting that U.S. economic growth will slow this quarter. Crude oil prices jumped, but natural gas hit a fresh more than 2-month low on recent weaker U.S. demand. Gold prices jumped to record peaks, while silver prices climbed to a 2-week high. Palladium and platinum prices tested multi-week highs and finished significantly higher, continuing the previous week's momentum. Gold prices remain elevated after last week's surge to historic highs, as market uncertainty persists. On Tuesday, market sentiment lifted after President Trump suggested that a trade deal with China is possible. It's a big week for the earnings season, with major tech stocks kicking off. Tesla posted disappointing earnings results on Tuesday, but CEO Musk outlined that the robo-taxi and affordable Tesla model are expected to launch on schedule this year. Tesla's stock jumped in after market trading. Google will reveal its quarterly results on Thursday. On Wednesday, U.S. manufacturing and services data will provide more clues on the direction of the U.S. economy. Palantir's stock price surged 6.01% and tested an almost 2-month high in a volatile week. The software company jumped early in the week after President Trump's decision to pause reciprocal tariffs for 90 days, which is expected to benefit tech companies that rely on global supply chains. Latest industry reports suggest that the market for AI data services, Palantir's market, is growing quickly. The company's U.S. government contracts also continue to underpin its success, growing its revenue. While the trade war continues to concern traders, the company is seen as indispensable to the current U.S. administration. Palantir will release its earnings on April 28th. Coca-Cola's stock price climbed 2.79%, climbing to a 2-week peak. Despite volatility in the markets, which has pressured many stock prices, the soft drink company has increased 18% in 2025. Coca-Cola is considered a rare company that does well, even in an economic slowdown, earning its stock the status as a safe haven or defensive stock. The company continues extending its drinks range to include energy drinks, water, and tea, generating ongoing revenue. Most Wall Street banks expect its stock price to grow, with UBS last week upgrading its price target, anticipating positive earnings on April 29th. Gold prices had another strong week, increasing 3.2% and hitting historic highs. Demand for safe haven instruments due to the trade war and geopolitical tensions continued to support the precious metal. A softer U.S. dollar is also boosting gold's popularity among foreign currency holders. Global central banks are also aggressively purchasing gold this year amid great volatility in the wider markets. The Fed is expected to cut interest rates twice this year, despite worries that tariffs could cause U.S. inflation to spike. Crude oil prices climbed 4.9% after the U.S. tightened further oil sanctions against Iran, targeting individuals and its ghost fleet of international tankers. Data from China showed a sharp increase in crude oil imports amid better-than-expected economic data from the country, which also boosted oil. Tariff exemptions announced at the end of the previous week also eased some trade-related supply concerns. Palladium prices increased 5.37% to hit an almost 2-week peak. Palladium has been impacted by trade war tensions due to the imposition of tariffs on cars and parts, which could reduce demand in the automotive sector, so the previous week's exemption of some products from tariffs provided hope that tensions could calm, supporting the metal. Russia and South Africa, which account for a large amount of global production, have both faced supply constraints amid geopolitical tensions and operational issues in South Africa's mines. The AUD-USD pair increased 1.1% higher to an almost 2-month peak. The Aussie jumped following better-than-expected manufacturing and services data, while a cautious stance from the Reserve Bank of Australia suggested that future rate cuts could be delayed. China, Australia's largest trading partner, also saw better-than-expected data, and China repeated its commitment to using stimulus to boost its economy. The greenback remains weaker amid continued concerns about trade war uncertainty, while the Fed is expected to cut rates at least twice this year.